So another question I often get is, what's the right amount of tennis that my kids should be playing, both to stay competitive, keep up with the peers, and the other part, not to get burnt out. There's a lot of books that have been written on this subject. Maybe we'll share some of them. But overall, from my perspective, the biggest thing we want to look at is, are the kids having fun with what they currently have scheduled? So, one of the guidelines that we look at, they should play the amount of hours of their age plus or minus 2 hours. So if somebody's 10 years old, they can play 8 hours to 12, and they'll kind of keep them competitive. Now, not all of those 8 to 12 hours need to be on the court. They could be reading a book. They could be playing soccer, as doing fitness. But just kind of maintaining that level will help you stay with your peers. Now, when somebody gets 15 and 16 years old, that volume would add up more, but I really believe that kids like 14 and under, 15 and under, as long as they're feeling balanced, then they can really succeed. Definitely, quantity doesn't always lead to more quality. It can really have a negative decline, both physically as kids get injured, and then mentally they're not able to handle it because they think that the more I play, I'll get better, and that's not always the case. So I would really look at your kid individually and see how long are they able to focus and have high level of intensity, and go from there. So again, individually, talk to the kid, talk to your private coach, but overall, if you're within 2 hours plus or minus, you're staying with everybody else in the country. So one of the biggest difficulty, especially living up north, is to have even 6 to 10 hours a week of playing tennis, because we're not able to go outside and just play for fun. So one of the things that we try to do is to recommend people to really play a lot more in the summer, because, for example, our summer camp, you can play 5 to 6 hours a day, and not that you need to do it for the whole 12 weeks, but a lot of the kids really make a big jump in the summer because they're playing more tennis. And in the winter, it might be 6 hours or 8 hours, so it's going to be a little bit less. But if you look at the average around the entire year, they're able to get to those 10 hours and do it the right way. There's different tricks you can do to kind of work with the schedule. But if you think of it yearly, you're going to get much better number than thinking about it monthly or weekly. When it comes to early development, a lot of times private lessons are not really necessary. I think sometimes if the kid is scared to go on the court in group lessons, sometimes doing 1 or 2 privates gets them going and makes them more comfortable with the vocabulary and gets them comfortable with the other coaches. But overall, privates I don't think really help a lot at this age. A lot of it can be done in group setting, and sometimes parents yourself, if you guys learn some fundamentals and you just go over it a little bit with them, can have even a bigger impact. A big question that I often get is, when is my kid ready to play tournaments or to compete? I think there isn't just one answer, but the things that you want to look for is, do they know the scoring system? Do they enjoy competing against you? Do they love playing points? I think before you play a tournament, it's good to have them play a couple practice matches or practice sets with their friends, with yourself, and just get them familiar with that. The other aspect of a tournament can be intimidating because you have to check in and you have to register and you have to know how to warm up. So there's all these little things that you want to go over before you go play a tournament, because otherwise it can be really intimidating. And the other thing that I would say, my biggest advice is, try not to say, okay, we're going to do this one tournament and then let's see how it goes, because that creates so much pressure and anxiety that you need to perform. But if you say, hey, in the next 3 months we have these 5 tournaments, and you're going to go and have fun, so now it takes less pressure because the kid knows regardless of their result, there's something else they can look forward to. And it seems like the right thing to kind of say, hey, if it doesn't work out, we don't have to do it, but usually I wouldn't do that. So